Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is quarterfinal time. Only 8 players remain here at Dreamhack Summer 2011. I'm Day 9.
And I'm Apollo.
We are going to be beginning the day with alternate attack Socke versus Liquid Huck.
What a
very
sick
exciting
PvP.
match. And now tell us a little bit about the matches that are going on right now, as well as later today. There are going to be 4 quarterfinals going on right now because that's what it means to be in the quarterfinals.
So the other game that's going on right now is July versus Sen, I think. And then in about an hour's time, we'll be going into the second half of the quarterfinals.
Tell them the one that we're not doing.
The one we're not doing is Moon versus Naniwa.
Oh.
But the one we are doing...
OGS MC versus Star Tails Bomber. Oh my goodness, that will be starting at 11:30, exactly 87 minutes from right now. Unless you're watching on the archives, in which case you can just close this video and turn that on right now, Apollo. But you know,
this game.
We'll watch this video. We're going to be going into alternate attacks. Socke versus Liquid Huck. The first map is going to be Terminus RE. It is a Protoss versus Protoss. And from what I understand, statistically, Huck does not perform very well in this matchup.
I think the record precisely is about 57% his win rate. Versus Socke is only 55, so it's a very, very close game indeed. But then if we look at Huck's recent results in GSL, he did beat San 2-1. In the GSL code S, so that's a pretty decent result. Socke, on the other hand, has been fighting week in, week out versus Hazuobs to be the German #1. So he's got a lot of PvP experience most recently.
And consistently, I've seen Socke perform very, very well in this matchup. One of the few Protosses to use a lot of variety, both comfortable with crazy 4-gate cheeses, with crazy 10-gate styles, even with Void Rays. What will be in store, we're going to find out right now. Make some noise, because it is Liquid Huck versus alternate attack Socke. The Canadian player from Team Liquid versus, as you said, the German superstar Protoss. Performing so well, maintaining that #1 slot in Germany. But recently, Hazuobs has been giving him a little bit of trouble. Has Socke's training been enough?
And what are your predictions for this game, Sean? Go ahead and spit it out.
Well, I think that given the fact that we are going to be cross-map positions on Terminus RE, would not be surprised to see Huck attempt some of the early expand builds that didn't work out in his previous attempts in the GSL. Regardless, in the north position, we have the Red Protoss hailing from Canada, but has been living in Korea for almost the entire duration of StarCraft 2, training, being the best he can. We have Liquid Huck! And in the south position, we have the blue Protoss, the German player, trying to gain that solid reputation as the best player in Germany. Will he cinch that spot today? It's alternate attacks, Socke!
And despite you saying predicting Huck to win, I have a feeling that tonight is going to be Socke's night.
And, you know, Socke is one of these players who always slips through underneath everyone's radar. You know, I recall a time when I would cast him in tournaments in round-robin stages, and he would lose his first 2 games, have to play 3 more, and I would almost always say, oh, Socke losing will make a quick departure, but he always manages to come back. I mean, do you remember when he had to do the 3-way tiebreaker at Intel Extreme Masters Europe? That was one of the craziest sets between Zhou himself and one of the Korean pro gamers who had flown out to the event. They were just trading games non-stop. Looks like, though, nothing too crazy coming out of these 2 players. We see that Liquid Huck's gateway is done. He's building a 16 cybernetics core. Socke building an 18 cybernetics core.
And this is interesting. Socke actually was in 2GAS for a long time, and it was definitely intended as I was looking at the Nexus, and he was waypointing in and out. And as you can see, he's already got a bit of a mineral lead in this game already. I'm interested to see just small deviations like this can change the outcome of the game, as we saw Huck yesterday, changing small little stars, managing to beat Moon, and super interesting to see how this will go down as we see the second gas now completed for Liquid Huck and just about to finish for Socke as well.
It looks like, again, neither player will be going for an aggressive 4-gate. I mean, you do see fast 2-gates like this from Protosses, but you generally will see it without that second gas if they are intending to go for a 4-gate. Huck now chrono boosting out his first Stalker. I would honestly not be surprised to see Huck go for a very fast blink play. He needs to make sure that that one probe is out, and Socke getting a lot of information, seeing that the second gas is down and that no structures have yet been built.
And it looks like Huck is going to be leaving the base of Socke now just as that Stalker pops out. And as you said, the Chrono Booster Stalker is halfway in the map now. Going to pressure that probe, make sure there are no hidden pylons and that he will go back to the base. Huck is chasing it down though. Will be able to get this probe in the middle of the map if he continues, but Socke's Stalker is coming down to help defend that.
Now, in the south position, Socke chrono boosting out 2 Stalkers. This is a very solid opening, getting 2 Stalkers out very quickly. Notice he's saving that chrono boost. This will allow Socke to pick off any proxy pylon, push back any early aggression of a 4 warp gate, but oh no. Will Huck actually end up having this get spotted? Interestingly, we do see 3 gateways down right now for Liquid Huck. We do see the robotics facility down as well, so it looks like Huck might be going for a faster Colossus or even for a faster Immortal.
And looking down in Socke's base, he's actually gone for the Twilight cancel. So it looks like Socke will be the one going for the blink play here, possibly.
And he spots the pylon. Socke with a huge gain there, but we do see that Huck's warp gate research has completed. Will he warp in at the pylon? He will. Gonna try to push back this initial Stalker pressure. But does Socke have enough Stalkers himself?
And this is interesting because Socke still has no idea what Huck is doing. Yet seeing this pylon, knows he's under a lot of pressure. And as we see, Huck has gone for an observer from the robotics facility while adding on a Twilight Cancel as well here. And it looks like Socke has added on 2 extra gateways now to help defend this because he only had those 2 gateways with these abilities, feeling a bit of pressure here.
Now, players like Naniwa are very good at pressuring the front, so that way they can get a good sense of what's going on in their opponent's base. And most importantly, this will allow a player like Naniwa to cut off this observer. This is actually going to impede Huck's overall opening quite a bit. But fortunately for Huck, Socke going for the Dark Shrine.
And I don't think that's going to work out too well for him, as the observer will be making its way down the map. This is a very large map, and it will take a long time to get there. But as soon as this, well, the way that the pylon is placed in Socke's base is that it will be going straight north. The DT will be warped in on the lower ground and go straight up. And Huck will most definitely see that and chrono boost out an observer inside his base and will easily defend against that. And now we do have Blink being researched for Huck here.
It was a very nice play here by Huck, just trying to get a little bit of free damage here, see if he can pick off his pylon, and he does. This will allow Huck to just pull a little bit ahead. Huck, though he is behind on food, is quite far ahead on that Blink Stalker count. With this observer, Huck can potentially sneak in with a very fast blink. He is morphing in 3 more Stalkers. Gonna have a good read on the situation. Now it looks like Dark Templar are being morphed in, but I have no idea where. Oh, there they are, sneaking around. Does spot a probe. Does he realize?
Don't think he does, and the DT does get away from that observer. And does the observer see the Dark Shrine yet? No, it just narrowly missed it there. Oh, nice force fields here, but Huck will be able to blink out here.
Right now, a lot of free damage going down on those Zealots. Zealots almost unable to do anything versus Blink Stalkers, and now Huck is in a position to be able to blink up to the high ground. Another force field goes down, trying to repel those Stalkers from walking up. We see a lot of Huck's units deep in the red. Socke's blink almost done himself, and is this Dark Templar going to be able to do any damage? Huck no, Huck doesn't realize this. He's still microing at the front. Socke does have his Stalkers there. He could blink back, but Socke throwing down. Oh no, Huck trapping the force fields. And meanwhile, in the main, a Dark Templar going to be able to start doing a lot of damage to this resource line. Can Socke hold on? He may need to pull probes.
And the DT is still there, but the observer is about to come out, and now Huck will hopefully be able to defend his main while being aggressive in the base of Socke.
Looks like he's advancing forward, picking off a single Zealot. Stalkers trying to get into a good position. Nice control there by Socke. At this point in time, we see Huck is slightly ahead in the food count, but Huck cannot exactly retreat from this battle, given that both players do have blink, and there's the pick off. managing to get another Stalker. So far, this is an extremely close game in the unit counting station. We see 26 probes for Socke, 22 for Huck. They have essentially the same compositions, but keep in mind, this Dark Shrine is down. 4 gateways out for Socke. He could begin getting those very powerful Archon units, increasingly popular in this matchup.
Huck has to be careful here. He definitely doesn't have the number count against these Blink Stalkers. Socke jumping in there, killing a probe. He might be able to kill the other Stalker too. Huck narrowly escaping now, but Huck is definitely on the back foot. And now Socke has the leisure to do whatever he wants. He's going to add on this robotics facility and will be very safe as he gets that observer out. Now Socke will be moving in the middle of the map to snipe any pylons that are loose around here. And Huck does have the observer inside Socke's base and will be moving around, scouting around, and will see everything that's there.
And now Socke finally getting the chance to kill off that initial pylon that was down at the right. We also see that these Stalkers are trying to do a lot of scouting around the base, doesn't want any other Dark Templars to do any additional damage. And this one observer by Huck trying to scout for any kind of DT pressure coming in, and it looks like Huck might be very well going for charge. But Socke is going to beat him to the punch. There's Socke's charge, and an expansion down now for the German.
And this probe here from Huck, south of the expansion of Socke, will be able to get that information very shortly, as well as the observer inside the base for Huck there. And now slowly but surely Socke is moving around the map to get some more information, though both players kind of tedious at the moment. The Dark Shrine is coming down for Huck, but to what end? I'm not sure if that will be very useless, as the robotics facility is out, and now an observer in play for Socke.
Looks like Huck was building those Zealots to allow him to save up a little bit of gas to get those DTs slightly easier. At this point in time, though, Huck does know that this observatory is out, does know that this Twilight Council is getting chrono boosted. We see a couple of Zealots out right now. In the unit counting station, we see both these players dead even almost. Huck now morphing in those DTs, but Socke's expansion is up, which means that if they continue to exchange armies, it is almost a guaranteed win for Socke. But wow, Huck also taking his expansion. What a great PvP to start off the day.
And there's no observer at all in Socke's base, and Huck's DTs are really going to go to town here, killing a lot of probes. Socke has to chrono boost this observer out, but before it comes out, how many kills will Huck be able to get here?
Socke trying to very carefully reposition, but Huck might be able to get the advantage that he needs. He's starting to pick away at the probes, doing a great job pulling back, currently losing the pylon at the front of his base. Socke trying to defend his main first, but there is the one Dark Templar for Socke hiding at the back. And in the meantime, while Socke is distracted, Huck moves in for a big push.
He is moving down the middle of the map with about 9 Zealots here and 7 Stalkers. Going to combine because he does have probes on the natural of Socke. And now Socke in a world of trouble. A lot of units coming down for Huck here.
Oh, Huck just warping in a gigantic army, but the charge is done for Socke. He takes down the Nexus, and there is Socke trying to micro back his Blink Stalkers. The Zealot count slightly higher for Socke, but the overall unit count much bigger for Huck, and Huck, who started out behind, may very well overrun Socke's defenses at the front. The defensive Blink, more Zealots from Huck advancing forward, and he picks off the Observer for Socke. He can warp in DTs, continue to pressure. We see one DT out right now for Socke. Again, a defensive play, and they're picking off the Observer of his own, but there's no nearby pylon. Huck's expansion will be able to help him take the lead.
Almost definitely now. You can see in the food supply now, 61 supply for Huck, 49 for Socke. And now Huck's expansion is up. He can just go back and defend. And he is now adding on 3 more gateways. And there's pretty much no way that Socke can break this now. With the observers, the DTs won't be able to do much. And Huck, even with the unit count superiority now, Huck looking in a dominant position right now.
The only way Socke can win is if he essentially goes all in. He has stopped producing probes. He is just making Colossi. He's going to wait for 1 or 2 Colossi and just make a final push. Never mind, he is taking an expansion. This is actually a little bit of an unusual play by Socke. It's more common to see him go for a very big, heavy push with these Colossi early on to try to take back some sort of miracle win. But at this point in time, it looks like Socke is instead going to commit to the strong opposite of that. he can't really attack very soon. He knows he's behind on units, and he doesn't even have range for those Colossi.
He doesn't have gas if he needs to keep this Colossus count up, so he needs to get this expansion up ASAP and stop mining from these assimilators. And we're having a clash of styles here, really. We're seeing Socke go for the powerful Colossus, and on the other hand, we do have Liquid Huck going for the Archon High Templar style, along with these Speed Zealots. And I don't really know, or the food count still 22 difference for both of these players, and it looks like Huck is going to be getting ready to push out to put pressure on this newly expansion here.
But keep in mind that Huck does not have the charge upgrade. We see that he has not researched it yet. Back home has only gotten the blink, now chrono boosting all of these gateways, and oh no! Socke did not scout the back right corner of his base. Huck, who has been up against the crazy aggressive styles that are potent in Korea, well versed in scouting around his base, but Socke apparently not quite prepared for the same. We do see there the Blink Stalkers advancing in. Can Socke pick this off? A lot of slow Zealots moving in for Huck. These two Colossi are going to be pivotal. And there the Colossi now working down on the Zealots. Huck's Zealot count is absolutely evaporating, but the blink in allows him to target fire the Colossus. And oh, Huck with the great unit control and the Archon absorbing huge hits, doing a lot of damage. There's the blink forward, picks off the Observer, picking off the remaining Blink Stalkers. A force field goes down, but it will not be enough.
And that's it. This looks like Huck is going to take the first game here as
there
Socke GGs.
Huck continuing to be one of the few almost undefeated players in this tournament, has only lost a single game, taking down the likes of Moon, taking down Preddy in the octofinals. Now here in the quarterfinals is up 1-0 versus Socke.
And we went to see him before we came down here to the tent, and he was in a confident mood. He was feeling great.
Oh yeah.
Slept well, has been eating well, and he's been going to the gym. He's getting a big little nerd. And he's actually in a great attitude right now, and he's doing awesome, and it's showing in his game.
Now keep in mind, Huck or Socke will play the winner of Sen versus July. But it's important that they push that out of their minds, because PvP is going to operate so differently than their Protoss versus Zerg styles. Looks like Socke is taking a minute to review that replay, doesn't want to jump in the game, and I think that's a very smart decision at this point.
Especially at such a critical point in this tournament where he's basically one game away from dropping out of it. And Socke, the professional coin tosser, who won that coin flip tournament from Dreamhack, hosted by myself and James Too Good Harding a few months back, managing to beat Bishu in the final there.
Yeah,
I mean, what are you grinning at?
I love that you call it the coin toss champion.
A tosser, he's a professional tosser is what it would be.
Oh, I didn't get it.
Oh.
Now coming back to the Protoss versus Protoss that we have at hand, Socke, keep in mind that he was only barely losing that game. But you know, it really goes to show you how Huck has really refined and honed that hyper-aggressive style that he was doing a lot in the GSL, does all the time on his own private stream. I mean, doing an aggressive style, very, very difficult to pull off. But what we saw in this game is that Huck was behind, but managed to pull some incredible flair with the Blink Stalker micro, with those Zealot compositions, and most importantly, those DT decision-making warp ends. That helped him pull back into the lead. But if Socke had just scouted slightly better, had one defensive observer, then that game would have almost certainly gone to the German player.
And PvP is all about these small little edges that you can get over your opponent.